Thanks for tuning in to Red Hunt, where the everyday turns dramatic before you know it. I am seeking opinions on whether I was in the wrong for not buying one of my friends a ticket to a music festival after her boyfriend broke up with her. This situation took place last year, but I am still curious about what others think. For some context, I am a 17-year-old female and my friend is a 16-year-old female. We used to be very close friends. She was my first real friend after moving frequently during elementary school. Our friendship lasted until she began dating her now ex-boyfriend, whom I will refer to as Max, who is also 17 years old. Initially, I liked them together, but I soon noticed that he was becoming increasingly controlling over her and isolating her from our entire friend group, especially me. He would tell her that I was a sinful person for having slept with my long-term boyfriend before marriage, which I did once. He insisted that she should no longer spend time with me. My friend even shared personal information about my relationship with others at school. Despite this, I tried to be a good friend and warned her multiple times about Max's behavior. However, she insisted that he was acting out of love and only wanted what was best for her. I was concerned about her well-being and even spoke to her older siblings who agreed with my concerns and her parents, who liked Max because they viewed him as a holy man. Ultimately, nothing could separate them, so I gradually stopped hanging out with her because he was not allowing it, and she agreed that this was acceptable. Fast forward a few months, they broke up and my 18th birthday was approaching. For my birthday, I asked for tickets to a music festival, and my wonderful mother purchased them a few months prior, allowing me to bring anyone I wanted. At the time the tickets were bought, my friend and I were not on speaking terms, and I assumed that Max would not want her to come. However, after he was no longer in the picture, she expressed a desire to reconnect and attend the festival with me. It is worth noting that she only knew one of the artists performing at the festival. After discussing things with her, I indicated that I would be open to rekindling our friendship and that she could join me if she purchased her own ticket. This upset her because the other two friends I was bringing did not have to pay for their tickets. I explained that the tickets had been bought 5 months earlier, during a time when we were not in contact. She argued that she was not in the right mindset while dealing with her controlling ex, and now that she felt better, she wanted to attend. We went back and forth for a while, and ultimately she left me on read, and that was the end of our conversation. Later, I learned that she approached our school counseling department and accused me of bullying and excluding her. I explained my side of the situation to the counselors, who understood and confirmed that it was my decision regarding the tickets. Since this incident occurred approximately 7 to 8 months ago, we are still not on speaking terms. I'm curious about whether I am in the wrong. You're not the cause of this situation, you know. I mean, you can't just save a ticket for someone who dumped you when things didn't go their way. It's really not fair for her to expect you to cover her ticket while you're giving them to others. Honestly, she's shown her true colors by turning on you twice, so it's good that you didn't pay up. If she thinks friendship is about money, that really says a lot about her priorities. You did your part and were open to mending things, but it seems like she wasn't interested in being a real friend. You definitely don't need a person like that in your life. Trust your gut on this one. Focus on the friends who appreciate you. They're the ones who truly matter. Am I the jerk for asking my youngest son to talk to my oldest son? I am a 65-year-old woman and I have 3 sons, aged 38 years, 36 years, and 32 years. I am particularly worried about my oldest son, who lives 13 hours away from me. He has been married to his wife, whom I will refer to as Maria, who is 34 years old, for 5 years, and they dated for a few years before that. I have always liked his wife, as I can see they are deeply in love. However, I am concerned about the dynamics in my son's marriage. My son works overnight shifts and Maria works during the day. Whenever I call my son when Maria comes home from work, he often says, "Mom, I have to go." My wife is home and quickly ends the conversation. If he does not hang up immediately when Maria enters the house, she starts talking to him or giving him instructions about household tasks. When I call on the weekends and Maria is around, my son will rush me off the phone, or Maria will interrupt the conversation, often without me realizing she is present. If I text my son to ask if he would like a shirt or something from the store, he responds with his preference and then mentions what clothing item Maria would like, as if it is assumed I will buy her something as well. Sometimes when I call on the weekends and my son is not available, Maria answers his phone. I understand they are married, but this is my son's phone and I am his mother. I feel as though Maria dominates my son, who has a gentle nature while she has a strong personality. He maintains frequent contact with my youngest son, reaching out about once a week, as they share similar personalities and are close. However, my oldest son seems distant from the rest of the family and rarely calls me unless I initiate the conversation. I feel as though Maria is emotionally isolating him by not allowing him the time or space to communicate with me. Although he has always been independent, this situation has worsened over the past couple of years. During our phone calls, he often sounds agitated, even when I ask him simple questions. Am I wrong for asking my youngest son, since he has a close bond with my oldest son, to check in on him and ensure he is okay and not feeling isolated? Given their brotherly relationship, I believe he may feel more comfortable opening up to his brother than to me. I have also sent him texts to let him know I am thinking of him, but he is not much of a texter, so I rarely receive a response. I worry that I could be causing family drama or overstepping by getting involved in his marital affairs. That's mad. You really didn't do the right thing here. Your son is an adult now, with his own life and family. He doesn't need his mom trying to pull power moves. Honestly, it sounds like he's just not interested in talking, and that's his choice. I mean, projecting your feelings onto his wife. That's just not fair. It seems like you're missing the boundaries he's trying to set. Plus, if he were really isolated, he wouldn't be in touch with his sibling every week, right? It's pretty clear you're the one causing the tension here. But you have to pump the brakes and respect his decisions. Focus on your own life and let him live his. Am I the jerk for blocking someone I wasn't close with? My job has merchandisers who stock for us twice a week. They hired someone new, and from our brief conversations, I gave him my number. He seemed cool, so I thought, why not? I told him that I do not text often because my job requires me to keep my phone in the office, and I usually need a few hours to recharge my social battery after socializing for 9 hours a day. He understood, and everything seemed normal. At work, I noticed that when he came by to stock, he would linger around me and sometimes stare. I did not think much of it as long as he did not bother me. However, once he left, he would text me about me not talking to him. He leaves around 2 p.m., and I normally do not finish work until 6 p.m. or 9 p.m. if I close. I cannot text anyone at work since I do not have my phone. Although I have my watch, it is hard to text when I am busy cashiering, stocking, or helping customers all day. From the moment he leaves until I can respond, he constantly sends messages trying to get my attention, complaining that I do not talk to him or that I ignore him. I reminded him of my situation, and he calmed down. I started unwinding from work, trying to collect myself as I normally do, but he continued to blow up my phone, trying to get my attention. He reached a point where he began begging me to talk to him or send memes about inappropriate topics. Then he would return to work for his next shift and confront me about not texting him. This pattern has been occurring every 2 days or so since March. I usually end up ignoring him until I have to tell him to stop texting me constantly. Now I am getting annoyed. It follows the usual pattern. He lingers around me, complains that I do not text him, and then bombards me with messages. On Wednesday, I told him one last time that I was tired of him continuously texting me multiple times and that I was exhausted from explaining that I rarely text anyone. He said he understood. 3 hours later, his response was, "Can I identify as not a person for you to text me?" I finally blocked his number after that. 2 days later, he showed up at my job to stock as usual. He saw me in the office on the computer checking stock at a different store. I assumed that between Wednesday afternoon and Friday morning, he attempted to text me and realized he could not. He walked up to me and called me mean. I told him he was not the first person to call me that, so it did not affect me. He replied, "I know, I'm just making sure you heard it from me. Honestly, I did not care. I'm just confused about why he is hurt. Am I the antagonist in this situation? You're not the cause of this situation. Seriously, you have every right to block anyone who brings you bad vibes. If someone can't take a hint, it's totally okay to cut them off." Honestly, reaching out to his employer might be a good move since he's acting pretty immature. It sounds like he might have feelings for you, but his vibe. Yeah, it's definitely creepy. You shouldn't feel obligated to stay in touch with someone who makes you uncomfortable. Protecting your peace is what really matters here. So don't hesitate to set boundaries for your own well-being. Sometimes people just don't get it. Blocking someone is your choice, and you shouldn't feel guilty about it. Am I the jerk for bringing up the fact that my friend and I don't hang out as much? My friend and I barely hang out now ever since she started talking to guys. I would say we both have busy lives, but unlike her, I always make time for us to hang out or suggest hanging out. Before she started dating someone, we would play games on the weekends because that was when we were both free. I go to university throughout the week and work one of the weekend days. Meanwhile, she works part-time as a safeguardian at a school. Despite having coursework, I always made time to hang out. I would ensure that I completed my coursework before the weekend so we could hang out, either in person or online. However, I realized that ever since she started dating, she is not putting as much effort into our friendship as I am. If we hang out on a day when we are both free, I am the one who plans the entire event. Our time together is not even long, just a few hours, and even then, she is often texting her boyfriend or sending selfies to him. Sometimes she would come over to my campus or meet near my campus when I have lunch. Usually I would not mind, but now that I have university friends, I want to spend time with them as well. However, I know that if I do not see my friend, I will be waiting weeks for the next opportunity. The last time my friend and I met near the campus, another friend at university was kind of alone because all of our friendship group had either gone to the library or were not there yet. I ended up prioritizing my friend who is dating over my other friend, and I felt bad about it. I feel like I am constantly putting my friend who is dating above everyone and everything else, even though I have so much to do and she does not put as much effort into seeing me as I do with her. I have spoken with her multiple times about this issue. I express how I am making time for her and how I feel she is replacing me with her boyfriend because of how much time she spends with him. This has resulted in some brief arguments on my side. I try to keep things civil when I explain my perspective, but often I misunderstand her messages and perceive them as dismissive, as if she does not care. Today, I asked if she wanted to join a call and play games tonight, but she said she cannot because she is staying over at her boyfriend's house until tomorrow evening. I mentioned that ever since she started dating, we barely do anything on the weekends. She replied that she would probably be busy until the holidays and that she is aware we do not spend much time together. She added, "I am well aware, however, this is my partner now." I try to be understanding about her relationship since it is her first serious one, but I am frustrated with feeling like her second option or only making plans when it is more convenient for her. So am I in the wrong? You're definitely not the cause of this situation. Your feelings are totally valid. I mean, it's really rough when friendships feel one-sided, especially when you're the one putting in all the effort. You deserve care and respect, just like your friend does in her new relationship. But honestly, it sounds like she's just caught up in the excitement of starting something new, which is pretty common. Have you thought about double dating? It could be a fun way to include everyone. You might also want to agree on a regular hangout like every other Friday night to keep that connection strong. Life changes as we grow, and it's totally normal for friendships to shift too. Just remember, don't drop your other plans to fit her in at the last minute. That's super shady, honestly, to put one friendship on hold for another. Balance is key, and good communication will help both of you adjust without losing what you have. Am I the jerk, living with in-laws temporarily while house hunting? Hello everyone. My partner, who is non-binary, and I, both aged 30, are currently living with my partner's parents. I work as a veterinarian and have been dealing with mental health issues for a few years, including post-traumatic stress disorder and depression. Additionally, I have physical injuries and experience frequent nightmares which disrupt my sleep. Despite these challenges, I do my best to avoid disturbing others. Generally, I consider myself a nice and helpful person who believes in treating others as one wishes to be treated. We pay rent to my partner's parents, which covers our food and board. We buy our own groceries and prepare our own meals to facilitate calorie tracking, as both of us are on a diet. We also clean our own mess as well as help with theirs. I have a large dog and they have 2 small dogs, and all of the dogs get along well. I purchase all the dog food since my dog is larger and requires more food. My partner's parents also have a 1-year-old foster child. Both my partner and I do not want children, so we do not assist with the baby, and it was not our decision to take in the child. The mother-in-law has previously mentioned that if her husband had not allowed her to get the baby, it would have led to a divorce. He has recently retired, and she often comments on how he is not working now, suggesting that it is his fault money is tight, even though she is currently employed. However, due to an injury, she has been on workers' compensation for the past 2 years. My partner and I are completely financially independent. The mother-in-law has a shoulder injury that she claims causes her significant trouble, stating that she cannot lift her arm above shoulder height. However, she has been seen frequently lifting objects above her head and carrying the baby with the injured arm. I feel that she may exaggerate the severity of her injury, especially in front of medical staff who are caring for her. I have been receiving comments while in bed about how it is daytime and I should be up and active. They often ask me to complete various projects around their house and to help maintain one of their rental properties. Although it may not seem like much, there are constant backhanded comments about my sleep patterns and accusations of laziness, despite the fact that I am frequently completing tasks for them. This behavior extends to my partner, who receives similar comments regarding perceived laziness. The father-in-law also makes these remarks, but I sympathize with him since the mother-in-law often gives him a hard time and leaves him alone with the baby for entire days, despite his initial reluctance to take on that responsibility. I have occasionally bought the father-in-law a bottle of scotch or whiskey as an extra thank you for allowing us to stay in their home. I am struggling to manage my reactions and often find myself needing to leave the room to avoid losing my temper. Am I the one at fault, or am I being overly sensitive? No kidding, it sounds like you're really stuck dealing with your partner's folks, huh? I mean, it totally makes sense to feel stressed when they're tossing around comments about laziness, especially while you're handling your own health issues. Have you talked to your partner about how they feel about all this? Their support could really help ease the tension, you know. Plus, you mentioned they've got so much going on too, like the baby and their mom's injury. Maybe setting some boundaries about your sleep and breaking down your mess a bit more clearly could help. So about the house, how far along are you in the closing process? It's always nice to have an end date in sight. It sounds like everyone's juggling a lot right now, so some open communication could really go a long way. Just remember, it's totally okay to prioritize your well-being too. Hang in there. Am I the jerk for not telling my best friend I'm in love with them? I am a 17-year-old female and have been friends with my best friend, a 17-year-old male, for about 4 years. We became very close after initially dating for a while, but we decided that being friends was the better option. This was 3 years ago, so I believe my feelings are not about not getting over a past relationship, but rather about being in love with my current best friend. Our friendship has been wonderful. We have gone on trips together, we text constantly, and I feel I can always rely on him when something is wrong. However, I have started to develop stronger feelings for him over the past 3 months. I find myself wanting to be around him more, spend more time with him, and talk to him frequently. I believe I am probably in love with him. We are very close, which has led to some ambiguous situations. He has expressed that he would prefer to be my friend for the rest of his life rather than get married. We are also quite affectionate, hugging often. When I did not have romantic feelings for him, this behavior felt natural and friendly, but now I feel like I am interpreting these actions incorrectly. I worry that I am taking advantage of our friendship by having these feelings. Additionally, we share everything with each other. Not sharing my feelings feels like a breach of trust, and even discussing this online makes me feel like I am hiding something from him, which is distressing. I would love to suppress these emotions, but I have tried and failed. This situation leads to feelings of guilt whenever I think of him romantically. I consider telling him about my feelings so he knows what I am thinking and can decide if he wants to remain close to someone who is so infatuated with him. However, a part of me is hesitant to share this, as I want our relationship to stay the same. Am I in the wrong for not telling him? That's a pretty interesting thing for him to say, honestly. It definitely sounds like you two are in a unique mess. I mean, it's worth asking him what he really means by that. Maybe he's not into marriage, or he's dealing with some personal issues like religious beliefs or feelings about dating. It could be so many things, including how he feels about relationships in general. A good chat could really clear things up for both of you. Your feelings matter, and it's totally okay to share them. If he doesn't feel the same way, it might sting a bit, but it'll help you move on. Either way, knowing where you both stand can only strengthen your friendship. Good luck with it. Thanks for watching. When you subscribe, make sure to hit the bell to turn on notifications so you never miss a video. To finish listening to all the stories, check out the playlist in the description.